Influence. Webster defines it as the power to have an important effect on someone or something. That if someone influences someone else, they are changing a person or thing in an indirect but important way forever. With a poet's heart, Courtney Patton fuses the power of lyrics, a healthy dosage of musical influences, and narrative into her music. With one listen, you will be changed how you think about music. Guys, I am super excited to get into it today in an in-depth, candid interview with Courtney Patton. Y'all check it out. It's time to jam. It's time to mingle. It's time to see what everyone's drinking. It's time to jam. It's time to mingle. It's time to see what everyone's drinking. Until we all lose connection.
Hey y'all, this is Max and
Heather
Stalling, and you're tuned in to the Boston Chris Show. Thanks for listening.
Hey guys, wow, we have a huge treat for y'all out there. I have been interviewing musicians and songwriters and producers and all kinds of people in the music business since 2016, and I've been a fan of Courtney Patton's for longer than that. And so today is kind of a watershed interview for me, and I appreciate you so much for coming on the show. It's been a long time I've been wanting to chat with you.
Well, I'm so glad we made it happen. Thank you for asking me and having me.
Oh, I appreciate it, and I'm excited to pick your brain because you are, without a doubt, one of my favorite songwriters, and I think one of my favorite records of all time of any genre of music is Electrostatic. It just takes me to a different place. Like if I'm in a mood, I can just put that album on, just listen to it back to back, song to song, and it just kind of takes me away from real life. And I wanted to thank you for that record. I know it's not the newest record, and we will definitely talk about the newest one too, but I just wanted to give you your flowers on just an incredible, incredible piece of work with Electrostatic.
Thank you so much. I'm very proud of that album, so that I appreciate you saying that.
Yeah. So before we get into anything, I have an icebreaker question, and that is, what are your favorite drinks right now? It can be alcoholic or not.
I'm sorry, it cut out right when you said that.
Favorite drinks.
Oh man, it's getting hot outside. I love an unsweet tea with lemon from Sonic.
Mm-hmm.
I go large, love that ice, and I enjoy an unsweet tea. But I've been doing a little, like vodka topo with a little bit of flavor in it lately.
Okay.
Put a little drops of Mio or some sort of flavored something, just to make it a little fruity. And then I've been on an old-fashioned kick again, as of late. So that's kind of where I'm at.
Nothing wrong with those answers.
Yeah.
Sonic's drink game is just strong as hell, isn't it, man?
It is.
Golly.
It doesn't need to be fancy for me. I also love a good cherry lime Coke. Coke with a little bit of cherry and lime in it. So.
Yeah, you don't see that too often. They used to make cherry lime Coke, if I remember correctly, but my go-to is like the wild cherry Pepsi zero sugar. I love those things, man. Oh my gosh. Don't get me started on that, but so I know the reports are that you live in Stephenville. Are you still in Stephenville?
I am. I've been here. There was a small window of time that I moved to the next town over for about 2 or 3 years, but I've technically basically been here since college in 2000, so about 25 years.
Where did you grow up? Because there's like no information on that anywhere.
In Weatherford.
Okay.
I was born in Fort Worth, and then when I was in second grade, my parents built a house in Weatherford, and that's where I graduated high school, and then I moved here to Stephenville to go to college, and then just never left.
And was there heavy duty musical influences in your home as a kid?
My mom and dad both loved music. My dad listened to classic rock. I mean, my dad listened to classic country. My mom listened to classic rock. So I was with her more, of course, because she was a stay-at-home mom. So there was a lot of James Taylor and Carole King, and she went through her Yanni phase, and gosh, we were listening to like 103.7 KVIL, and so there was a lot of soft rock. So I kind of have a love for that stuff. I remember my first albums that I got, Santa Claus brought me Pink Floyd Animals
Wow.
and Led Zeppelin 2. So those were my first two, you know, and then the music that I bought with my own money, I think I got Ace of Base on CD.
Let's go.
Oh. And I had in cassette tapes. Very distinctly remember having Chattahoochee on tape, and then I had Garth Brooks in Pieces. So there was just kind of a whole wide swath of different kinds of music in my home, and I loved that. So I grew up listening to everything.
Well, looking back at that now, like, can you kind of see that those early influences in your art now?
Oh, every day,
Yeah.
every day, especially now. The last two records I've done with Gordy and Trevor in Austin at the finishing school. Trevor just understands my early influences, and in a way that we maybe don't even have to talk about it. Like one of my Desert Island records is Carole King's Tapestry, and
Yeah.
so he knows that. And so there was a lot of finding a common sound with what I was writing, and kind of paying homage to that a little bit, especially on this last record. So yeah, I hear it all the time in either melody choices or yeah, I do. I don't mean to,
Yeah.
but I just hear it.
Well, you're not
Hmm.
supposed to mean to. I mean, that's kind of the point of being
Yeah,
inspired and
sure.
yeah, having that conduit. And then, man, I have so much respect for songwriters because of that. Because, like, for me, I can't do that. That's not a talent that I have. But I understand how it works just by talking to you folks all the time. So it's just
Yeah,
such a cool process, and it's never the same way for everybody either.
right.
So what was the genesis of your songwriting? Like, of course, a lot of us are going to grow up with music in our lives, and we're going to be inspired by it, and perhaps it'll be a therapeutic experience. But the very few of us actually pick up a pen or an instrument and take it a step forward. So what was that like for you?
I started writing poetry at a young age, and so I had an English teacher in fifth grade, Miss Decker, Bonnie Decker, and she went to church with me. Um, and so I grew up around some of my teachers. I saw them every Sunday and every Wednesday at church, and so I had a close relationship with her. And they did this project in fifth grade where you did a hardback book, and it was full of poetry. Well, I requested and bought an extra book, and then I wrote a book of poetry to all of my teachers. And so every teacher had their own
Wow.
section. And I remember doing creative writing in my diary. I found in my old diary from like second, third, and fourth grade, I found stories. I would just write like fictional stories uh, that are so silly to read now. But as for a fourth grader, I thought they were great, And I remember taking my diary to school and asking my teacher if I could read it to class. I wanted to read to the class. And so there's always been a little bit of like wanting to perform, wanting to share my ideas and the thoughts deep inside, with everyone. So it started out as poetry, and then mom bought me a guitar. I think I got it for Christmas my junior year. And it was just a crappy Washburn. It didn't have a pickup in it or anything. And I took it to college with me, and I bought a poster at Walmart and hung it on the dorm room wall, and I just taught myself how to play. So
Wow.
I've never had a formal lesson, and it probably shows for a lot of musicians. That's why I go, oh, good thing I'm not a guitar player, I'm a songwriter.
Yeah.
Focus on my voice and my words, don't focus on my playing. But
Was there a struggle for you to go from poetry and then turning that poetry into lyrics, or was it
no, I
just
loved it.
was this
I
an
was
easy
so
transition?
obsessed. Absolutely. I was listening to Robert Earl Keen and Jack Ingram and Gary P. And I was listening to all Jerry Jeff Walker. Willie was huge for me.
Yeah.
Don Williams was my favorite.
Yeah.
And then, of course, James Taylor and Carole King. So I was surrounded by these incredible singer-songwriters always. And when it came time, the melodies were so simple. There was nothing flashy to it. I wasn't trying too hard. I was just probably playing two or three chords, max. But it was just fun. And so that's kind of where that started. And then I got into open mic night because my sweet mate Claire heard me singing in my room and walked through our shared bathroom, and she's like, "Hey, you need to go play at open mic night." I was like, "Oh, no, no, no. I don't think I could do that." Like
Yeah.
I'm an outgoing person in life, but I'm terribly shy when it comes to my music. And didn't think I could sing or perform in front of anyone. Like my throat would just constrict and completely close up. Like I couldn't get air out. You know, it
Yeah.
was almost like my body wanted to do it, but or I mean, I wanted to do it, but my body was like, "Nope, we got you. You know, we've got you." And she did. She just talked me into it and sat with me while I got comfortable playing in front of other people. And next thing I know, I was on stage, and then it
Yeah.
never stopped from
Man,
there.
it's very unusual for a songwriter to not be shy, right?
Yeah,
It's so funny to think about because like you guys are sharing your heart and soul with the
right,
entire world, and every single song you guys write and then decide to put into the studio and share with the world. That's a vulnerability you're putting out there every single time, every song, every
right.
record, right? So like that vulnerability and shyness is gonna be there. It's very unusual to find somebody who's just very artistically gifted in the writing sphere of things and also outgoing and willing to just openly put that out there, right? Like I feel
Right.
like there's always kind of an evolution process there, to go from shy to, you know what, I'm for you, are you, is it kind of a way to separate, are you separating yourself from your art in order to perform it? Is there a process for that, or are you just bearing it every time?
No, I think I just bear it, and I think it's like I'm an overshare.
Yeah.
I'm loud. Like I wear my heart on my sleeve, and then like lyrically, it's the same, but it almost feels. It used to feel scarier doing it that way,
Yeah.
right? Like I mean, it was probably imposter syndrome or something like that. But the older I get, the more that like it's just therapeutic for me to get out and do that and to watch people connect to my words and to come up after the show and say, you know, this song reminded me of this, or to me this song is this, and this song saved my life. I mean, it
Hmm.
just blows me away the way that my music can do for someone the way that someone else's music does for me. So of course it does, right? Like we all just find comfort or we can relate to a journey that someone, whether it's fiction or not, you
Hmm.
know, some of the best songwriters are not writing from personal experience or telling stories that aren't true, but you somehow find yourself in them in a way. So yeah, I don't know. My art's pretty personal. So I've gotten over that, and I almost feel like it's become expected that I
Yep.
am so honest
I
about
was going to
my
say, over the
stuff.
years, you have gained a reputation as somebody who is writing from experience, from your own life.
Right.
And
I
so,
said I'm the middle-aged Taylor Swift, you know, like
well, I mean, yeah, I could see that. I would put you guys in the same category. I think you're both great writers. But yeah, you're writing from experience, and so like when you go through your catalog, you can kind of see where Courtney was at that time in her
I know.
life. You know,
I know.
so like you mentioned writing from other people's experiences. Do you have to do that sometimes just to take a break from the rawness of your own um, life?
I think what happens for me, honestly, if I'm being completely transparent, I think I just get writer's block. Like I
Yeah.
think when things are going well or when things are terribly hard, I mean, usually when things are terribly hard, I'm like a wellspring, and
Yeah.
it's therapeutic for me to just get that stuff out. But when things are good or I'm busy or I'm making a record, I just kind of shut that part of my brain off. I'm not thinking creatively. I'm not trying to think about, you know, I don't look at writing as a job. I don't sit down and go, I need to go write today. One thing that helped me get more into that headspace and that broke me out of the writing from personal experience was joining a little songwriter club with some of my fellow musicians, and we had a prompt every Thursday morning, and we had to turn in a song that we wrote completely alone by Wednesday night at midnight.
Wow.
And I was in that for a long time. uh you get kicked out if you miss, without you get one pass a year. And I had already used my pass, and then I ended up in an emergency room in Kansas City on the road at some point, and I missed turning my song in. I got kicked out. So it's ruthless. Like they don't, you know, medical problems be damned. Like
Hmm.
you're out. And I actually welcomed the break because I had been in it for so long. But that being said, it was such a cool way to spark creativity. Just saying the word waves.
Hmm.
Cool, got a song. I mean, I can pinpoint some of the best songs that I've written were out of that forced creativity. So This Is Life came from a songwriting prompt. Casualty, I'm really proud of that, from Electrostatic. That came from the word waves.
Yeah.
That
Wow.
was in that songwriting group. 7 of the 10 songs on Electrostatic came from that songwriting group. So that has been a really big help in getting me outside of my own self and thinking a little more creatively. And there's still truths in a lot of those songs, but sometimes it was just the making me think about whatever I was feeling or whatever I wanted to write in a different way.
Mm-hmm.
Those words or those little short phrases helped so much.
Well, it's getting out of your comfort zone, right? Just even
Correct,
if it's for just a little while, like just
right.
Because like a lot of times I feel like, co-writing is so important to people because of a couple of reasons, but like the two that really come to mind are validation, right? Especially if you feel like you can trust the other people in the room, like they're gonna tell you, no, Courtney, that sucks. Like, what are you doing? Like, you know, like that validation is important in a co-writing atmosphere. And then the other thing is I mean, different perspectives, right? Everybody's living a different experience. But how do you feel like those exercises, those solo writing exercises, has helped you in a co-writing sense? Like, in other words, you do those exercises, I imagine you're getting better as a writer, and then that's going to form, kind of shore up how you are as a co-writer too, right?
I don't co-write much, and I wish I did. And it's not, I think I just don't initiate it. And it's not that I don't want to. There's a part of me that's scared. I've only written in a room with another writer maybe 2 or 3 times.
Is that that imposter syndrome that you were talking about earlier?
Probably.
Yeah.
And I feel like my process, I feel like I throw out really cheap and silly lines when I'm trying to make something make sense. And I think I get embarrassed. Like, trust is a huge thing. And I feel like I don't know that I trust myself enough to be smart enough to add anything. And that's my own insecurities, and I need to work on that. But I had a couple co-writes on this last record. Jason, of course, I wrote in the room with him because we lived together. And then Kelly McQuee, we did that by text, and Adam Hood and Brent Cobb as well. Brent and I wrote by Zoom, and he's just such a pro at it. And he and Adam both, they write for a living, and so they have publishing deals, and they literally do that for a job. And so they're really, really good at it, and they've had a lot of practice. And Adam's so encouraging. He's like, you just got to keep doing it. Like, you just got to get comfortable with it till you don't think about it anymore. And so I still think about it a lot. But I would like to, in this season, try to get in a room physically with a person, and it probably does need to be someone that I know, or maybe it needs to be somebody I don't know at all, so that I don't care if I make an ass of myself.
Yeah, maybe you're right. I feel like it's twofold, right? Like, number one, you're going to have that imposter syndrome where your inner voice is always going to tell you you're not good enough for this room, especially if the other songwriters in the room are professionals and they've had success with it, and you're just going to be like, yo, I don't belong here, right? And then the other thing is just worried about your own ideas, right? Like, how vocal can I be? Do I trust this person to not laugh? And those kind of things, and bringing that kind of stuff to the table. So, like, I can imagine it's a tough experience. And then, the other thing I was going to say is, your songs are like your kids, right? So, like, you don't want to share that with another person sometimes, right? You're not going to let somebody just take your daughter, some stranger take your daughter to Sonic in his car, and, like, you're going to feel some kind of way about that. And I imagine it's the same way with your songs. Like, you're probably really guarded
and I think you have to get comfortable. Jamie always says it, and I know it's from something else. You have to kill your darlings. Like, you have to be okay letting lines go, rewording things, and I get so locked into this is the truth, so I wrote it and I made it rhyme, that if something needs to be sang, like on one example that I think about every time I sing it, I wrote a song about my late sister called 14 Years, several years back. And I say the purple, talking about a candle, and I said the purple one I gave you. It was a purple candle. That did not sing well. Like, I should have said a color that sang better than purple. Purple just doesn't sing well, and it's hard to say, and I almost feel my mouth get jumbled when I say it, and it's because I couldn't let go of the fact that was the truth.
Yes.
And I wish now I could have been like, hey, it's fine. James Taylor has this song called Enough to Be on Your Way, and it's about his late brother, but he made her a female in the song. And his brother's name was Alex. He named this woman Alice. And so there's partial truths, and it's still about his brother, but as a listener, you don't really know because that's not how he sang it and performed it. And so I know at the heart that that's who he was thinking about, but he was able to do it in a way that still kept it like private, you
Yeah.
know? And
I wonder if
don't-
he did that because he was trying to distance himself from the truth when he's
Right.
performing these songs, right? Because again,
Sure.
they're so
It's
raw.
painful,
Yeah,
right, to go
absolutely.
there.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You know, if you're feeling it as a fan and an audience member, can you imagine what the writer of the song is feeling when he delivers it, you know?
So I went through that a lot. People ask me, how do you get through that? And when I first write them, it hurts like that, right? I usually know somebody goes, how do you know your song's done? I said, I cry. Truly.
Wow.
Like if I've got it done, it's so cathartic to me that I will weep.
So it's
I
like
go,
a
okay,
grieving process once
that's
it's
it.
done.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
And it's just so therapeutic for me. But when I get out and perform it, that initial time, I'm terrified, shaky, hands sweaty, and I am closing my eyes. I'm not watching people. But now I've gotten to a point where I have grieved it. I went through that process. Now the song has become for someone else, right? It already served its purpose when I wrote it and shared it for the first time. And now I don't feel the heaviness of that when I sing it every night. I
Yeah.
mean, there are of course times, like if it's a certain time of year or a season, if it's Christmas, or if something really cool happens, like rain falling through a building when I'm singing it and I think it's some sort of God wink, like I will feel things, but I don't. Now I'm looking for that connection, and that someone else is moving through my words and feeling what I felt when I initially wrote it. So that's kind of like a gift that keeps giving. I don't have to suffer the pain that I felt when I went through it, and then when I wrote it, I get to just let it be whatever anybody else needs it to be.
Is it the
doesn't
same way
belong
when you're
to me
telling
anymore.
the story behind the song? Like in a listening room environment or something where you tell, the story from where a song came from. Are you done with the grieving then too? You're able to get through that also?
Pretty much, and I probably don't go into a lot of detail. I've
Yeah.
noticed myself being a little more reserved and shy and having my head down and not able to make eye contact when I'm talking. A lot of times I do silly things between songs because my songs are so heavy that I have to be charming and funny in between songs to try to lighten the
Right.
mood, They get a little comedy show between the heaviness of my words, but yeah, I think so. I think you just get to a place where it becomes, I felt it. I've done it,
Mhm.
Now, not numb. Numb's not the right word. I mean, I guess it does feel that way sometimes, but yeah, it's just not mine to grieve anymore. Now
Yeah,
it's just
that's
something I get
so
to
cool,
share.
man. It's just the therapeutic nature of music, right? And
Yeah.
it's so cool the way you put that. Like it's like a grieving process. I'd never heard it that way. One thing I wanted to talk to with you is because like I obviously I've listened to every single song you've ever written and put out. Like I love your music so much. You know, you're so lyrically gifted in delivering a lyric vocally as well, which is a huge, in my opinion, a huge strength of yours.
Thank
But
you.
but I want to say one thing I've noticed over the catalog that you have is the women characters in your songs almost always win. They're almost always the victor. Are you aware of that? Is that a strategy behind your music? Like you're in such a rotten place, but like you always come out of it, and the characters in your songs always come out of it better for it.
I mean, I've lived it.
Yeah.
No, it was definitely not. No one's ever asked me that. That's a great question. I don't know that I even realized that. I think it felt like very much like suffering when writing it, But I do feel that way
Mhm.
about myself. I feel like no matter what I've had to go through, whether it was self-inflicted or not, I feel like I've always come out on the other end of it better and smarter and wiser, and that's very cool. Thank you for saying that.
Yeah, of course. I think it's so interesting because when you're going through those life experiences, I've also been divorced. 16 years and got divorced. Thankfully, I'm with the love of my life now, so it all turned out the best. But I went through all of that. I understand the dark place that I was in, and I can't imagine myself trying to write that in 3 minute intervals
Right.
without knowing what the outcome is, right? And then
Uh-huh.
making the outcome positive from that dark place that I was in. So I don't
Right.
know how you could possibly do that, because like most of the outcomes in your songs are coming from a positive place. Just wishful thinking, is that part of your grieving process, or what?
Maybe, or also just I do feel like I am a very strong, independent woman, and so
Of
maybe
course.
there is a part of me that always wants to see that person figure out a way to accept help and be softer and not feel the need to do everything on her own. Like maybe it is wishful thinking for my own self too, as I like navigate. uh I feel wiser I'll be 43 in 2 weeks. I feel more grounded and wiser than I've been. I guess that's the goal of aging, right?
Mm-hmm.
But everyone always talks about like how great their 40s are, and I got divorced, unexpectedly. My husband left me right after I turned 40, and I had just broken a leg and I had just broken a hand, and I just had a terribly hard season of life. And that came on the heels of it, and it hurt deeply, and I wasn't expected it. I was blindsided by it. But all that to say, and I'm getting teary about it, but I have found so much growth and joy and friendship and strength and an ability to bounce back and grow as a mother and as a woman and as an artist. And more good things have happened since that hardship than I could have ever imagined. So I think it's all about outlook. And I
Yeah.
think we can choose to wallow, or we can choose to use things as a life lesson and a teaching tool. And I was raised with a mother who did that, and who I watched her lose her child, and I watched my brother abuse drugs for a decade and watched her survive that right after losing my sister. And then my dad left after 30 something years, and just hit after hit. And she's still standing, and she's still graceful and kind. And she's an inspiration to me. And so I don't have a choice.
Yeah.
You just love people and you forgive them and you're kind and you know,
Yep.
what else can we
And you have
do?
a daughter too, right? So like
I do.
you
Yeah.
it is your responsibility to take the things that your mom taught you, the lessons that
Yeah.
were indebted to you from her, and pass
Right.
those on, right? Not just
Yeah.
in the way that your mom taught you this and then you just give it to your daughter. No, it's
Right.
your mom taught you this, then you add your experiences to the things that you learned,
Thanks,
and then you
Oprah. Thanks, Oprah.
yeah, I'm sorry. I don't look like Oprah at all, okay? And but I'll take 0.1% of her bank account.
Okay.
That's for
Okay.
sure.
First
Um
tears of the week, man. My kid graduates Friday, so I know this just is the beginning,
well,
but
congratulations on that. That's a huge
thank you.
accomplishment for you.
Yeah.
And I wanted to chat about that in a little while, about your
Yeah.
daughter, and kind of balancing that. I have so much respect for you because I know you're balancing motherhood with all this. You're writing, new record just came out, which was a very raw, edgy record for you, I know.
Yeah.
And you are holding off on touring until your daughter graduates. And I just think that is
Right.
such an inspirational decision that you're making there. It was an easy one, though, wasn't it?
Oh yeah. I mean, there's not a part of me that can miss anything. I've always been that mom that wants to be at everything, and even if they say it doesn't matter, it matters to me. So anything I could do, and I did the same when my son graduated. I didn't miss anything. And so you just don't get those days back. You just don't get them back. And so it was a no-brainer for me. And I'm still working, I just am taking gigs a little closer to home. I did just have a couple shows up in the Carolinas this weekend, and that was fun, but I was a nervous wreck traveling the whole time,
Yeah, I
trying to get
imagine.
back for baccalaureate. I took a Saturday off just to travel so that I knew I would be home on Sunday with no stress. But I'm learning to listen to my body more. I'm learning to go, you know what? Financially, it's okay if I skip this weekend. And I want to be at this ag mechanic stock show, or I want to be at this track meet, or whatever it is. And now I'm also entering a weird phase of like living for myself, which I've
Yeah.
never done. I've always just, my identity has been mom
Isn't
for
that
the last
crazy? Like, you just
20
wake up one
years.
day and it's like that, right? Like, you're just like,
Yeah.
wow, I have to learn who I am now. Like, that's terrifying.
I mean, again,
Yeah.
to kind of backpedal just a skosh, like that whole time when I was telling you like what a hard season I was going through right around 40, that was the crux. Like
Yeah.
the crux was I had a counselor look at me and say, I don't think Courtney knows who she is. And I was immediately offended. And then
Yep.
in the same second, I went, huh, you're right. I have no idea who I am without being a mom. Like if I don't have the role of wife and mom, I don't know what to do with myself.
It's those
And that used
self-identifiers, right? Like, we put
yeah,
our
and
own identifiers on ourselves.
I think a lot of moms do this. I think
Absolutely.
a lot of moms, and I don't know how many recognize it until it's, like you see a lot of divorces around this time. And I think at some point, they'll call it a midlife crisis, whatever you want. But I think at some point you're in your 40s and you're just like, I've never done anything for myself.
Yep.
I've been taking care of these kids. I've been doing all this stuff, and I don't know who I am. So it's either a loss of identity or it's a clinging to like youth or whatever it
Mhm.
is. Mine was a complete loss of identity and just a deep depression that surrounded it. And it took Jason leaving for me to pull myself out of bed and go, get up and like take care of your health and eat cleaner and move your body and like go be the fun person that you are. Like go, you are not getting any younger. Your days are not coming back. Like make the most of it. So
And you're telling yourself this, or is this your friends
yeah.
too? Because I know your friends
100%
were
telling myself
right
that.
there for
No,
you.
if a friend told me that, I would double down.
Yeah.
I would be
Yeah.
like, I'm going to be extra depressed now because
Yep.
you told me not to be.
You just feel
I
attacked,
don't-
right?
Oh, absolutely.
Yeah.
No,
Yeah.
I use this quote a lot. The Jackson Brown, "Don't confront me with my failures. I have not forgotten them." That is the most brilliant lyric because I know, like, if anybody knows, like, I am the most self-aware human you're ever gonna meet. Like, I know all of my things. I just
Yeah.
need my own time to work through them.
You got to get out of your way, right? You got to get out of
You
your own
gotta
way.
get out of your own way.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Man, yeah. Man, I married, or I got together with my first wife when I was 17. And we divorced when I was 35.
Okay.
So I literally went from high school to 35, and then all of a sudden I am a single father of 3 children. She left and went to a different state. So I had
wow.
these kids and myself, and I was just like, holy crap. Like,
Right.
you talk about self-identifiers. Like, everything
Yeah.
changes in literally a second. You have to figure
Yep.
out all of these things. Like, how do I be a dad without her, right? How do I be a
Right.
mom, too, without her? Like,
Yeah.
how do I find a job and then make sure my kids get to school? And,
Right.
and golly, then after a year or two, learning how to date again. And, like,
Isn't it the worst?
I used to say
Ugh.
all the time, I have no game. How am I gonna?
Same.
Like, I have no game. I've been out of this since high school, bro. Like,
Yeah.
what do you mean I'm supposed to like attract a mate? Like, what is
Yeah.
this? No, that's
What
not
does
gonna
that
happen.
even mean? Right.
Right, exactly. Like, no, I when I said I do, that was me. Like, that closet was closed. I wasn't
Sure.
interested anymore in that. And then it was that door just flung open, and I was like, whoa. Man, I wish I had songwriting to help me.
Well, I just got through it, buddy, and I'm telling you, it did not help. I was like, God, I kind of want to like write a book about
You
how
should.
awful it was.
Yeah,
And it
you
was
should.
such a short-lived, like I didn't actually even go on. I think I only went on a couple dates. And I was just like, nope, not, I can't. And I signed off. I was just like, I can't. I am here to live for Courtney. I am not doing the online dating. I'm not talking to babes on the internet. I'm not doing any of it. This is the worst.
Yep.
I'm gonna just wait until.
And then you're in the
something falls
public
my
eye
lap.
too, right? So like you're out in
Oh,
places
yeah.
where there's people trying to date and find people, and golly, man.
I will tell you that was one thing that like I tried the online dating thing and I don't, talk about it publicly. This is really funny that I'm sharing this with you, but I would run into people that knew who I was, or I would find out that they had already been following me on socials and they saw me come across their
Wow.
dating app. I was like, they don't even want to date me. They just want to talk to me
Yeah.
because of what I do. And so then that feels gross and it just.
And then you have to
everything about
question that all the time, right? Like, are they genuine, or are they just trying?
Oh, yeah.
God, I can't even imagine what that's like. Yeah.
Yeah, so I am dating a really wonderful person right now, and I'm very happy. And he always jokes and he says, "Well, just wait till you hear my mixtape; it's all going to be
There
over."
you go.
So
There you
he
go.
just teases me
I love
about it.
that.
He doesn't play
Yeah.
music at all.
I
So
met my wife that I've been together with for, it'll be 10 years in July. I met her on Facebook, believe it or not.
okay,
Yeah. I started a Facebook group for the East Texas area back in 2016, and somehow she got added to the group. Didn't even live anywhere near me. She lived like an hour and a half from me, and we just hit it off. Crazy.
that's awesome.
Yeah.
Well, good for
I
you.
got to the point where I had shut it down, man. I was so tired of playing the
Yeah,
game of dating, and I was just like, I'm done with this. I'm not doing this anymore. I'm gonna hang out with friends. You know, I was emceeing award shows at the time in the East Texas area, which I really enjoyed. So I kind of threw my energy behind that, and then within a month of just shutting it down, she showed up. You know,
yeah,
so
that's
it's
exactly what happened to me.
yep,
I said, nope. I'm just here for my friends right now. I'm taking care of my life and me, and I'm
yep.
enjoying being alone. And then all of a sudden, it
And
was
all of
time.
that is yourself lying to yourself, by the way. Like, you're
Sure.
not enjoying any of that at all.
Right.
So, here's a question I wanted to chat with you about. You just released your sixth record in, I think, January or February this year. Carry You With Me is the name of it. Obviously, this one was written throughout the process of your split and all of those life
Right.
experiences and stuff. But your first record was Trigger in the Flood. That was 2013. So you've got 12 years, six records. I'm curious, from your perspective, can you kind of look back at the evolution process between your records then and now and kind of look at the things that have stayed the same? In other words, the things that you really kind of leaned on, but then there are other things that change over time?
You mean like sonically,
Yeah, just
or
from an artistic standpoint, like, you know, you find something that really works and you lean on it, and then there might be other things that you've changed over time because maybe it didn't fit quite as well.
yeah. Well, when I made that first record, I had never really had any studio experience. I had paid $1,000 to Mike McClure to produce my first record when I was a brand new mom. I had just stopped nursing my daughter, and it was the first time I had left. And I went to Oklahoma for a few nights and recorded at the Dirty Bird with McClure and Travis Linville in Norman, or actually it was outside of Norman. Tecumseh, I think, is where that studio was at the time. And I thought that was the only thing I was ever going to do. And so I just, he helped play guitar. Like, we doubled guitars. It was an acoustic record. I had John Fulbright was just out of high school. He played piano on it.
Oh
I
my
paid him with
gosh, I
Jack
didn't know that.
Daniels. It
Wow.
was Jack Daniel. No, he wanted Crown Royal. A bottle of Crown Royal is how I paid him. And it's
Wow.
just this horribly mastered, way too loud. My songs are awful. Everything about it's terrible. And so, but it was just supposed to be a record that was for friends and family, like college buddies that came to open mic night. Like, I didn't think I was ever going to do music for a living. It was just more of a way that these songs could live for a little bit. And then I just kind of did the mom thing, and then I worked a day job. And around 30, my kid's dad and I got divorced. And so I got two under the belt, man. Uh Winning. And
Hashtag winning.
yeah, and so that's where Triggering a Flood came from. But anyway, we when I was going through that, I had done Kickstarter for the first time and made the money to make that first record. And when it came time to do it, I was working a day job that I did really love, but it got to a point where I was like, I gotta put this out and give it a chance. Like, I just made my first full length record. People funded it for me. I gotta go out and see. And I quit my day job. I quit my day job on December 14th of 2012. It was the day of the Sandy Hook school shooting.
Wow.
That was my last day of being gainfully employed. Uh, and I haven't had another job since. And so I made that record with no studio experience, like I said, other than just, McClure hitting record of me and my guitar and my crappy songs. So I didn't know how to talk to an engineer. I didn't know what I wanted. I didn't know what I liked. I just knew I loved country music, and not country music that was on the radio. I knew what I liked. Well, I feel like I kind of was not pushed, but the people that I chose to produce it and the musicians that were hired had a sound, and they had a sound that they liked. And so my record sounded like that. and I listen to it and I can't already even tell that it's my voice sometimes. Like it doesn't even sound like me. And my voice has gotten raspier because I have permanent vocal damage, but I mean it's manageable. But that has deepened my sound, and just living, just 20 more years of just gravel and being in bars and doing what I do for a living and talking and yelling at kids and all the
Does your
things,
content change because of that?
maybe. Yeah, I mean, I've just learned more too. Like I've learned more about instruments and I've learned more about styles and I've
Yeah.
learned more about playing my own guitar and I've learned more about songwriting and I've learned more about life. And so I feel like I went into, I very much wanted to do a traditional country thing, and I listened back and I never really got there. I never really did it. And I don't know if it's because I didn't know what I was doing, but I'm still like obsessed with, maybe I wanted to do like a Merle Haggard thing and have a traditional country record with horns on it.
I
Uh,
was going to point
and
that out, the horns on Carry You With Me.
well, but this
Completely
record, I was
different.
trying to make a soul record, So
Okay.
then I finally, like, I was over country. I was
Yeah.
over it, and then I was like, you know what? I'm just gonna be Courtney. I'm gonna stop trying to say I'm
I
gonna
was
make a
going to
record
say,
that
like
sounds
that
like
traditional
this,
country is great, but that's not really who you are totally, right?
and that's it. And
Yeah.
so I think the reason that Electrostatic and this new record, I love them so much and I feel so proud of them, is I just let go and I was just me. Like I quit trying to sound like something and I was like, I love steel guitar. I love saxophone. I love this. I love that. I hate Rhodes keys. I hate that. Like I'll tell you what I love, I'll tell you what I hate, and just let's make a record. Like let's just hire the best players and let's go have fun. This last one, I played guitar on one song and it's the very last song, and I had the best time. I wrote and played everything to make the song.
Yeah.
Who gives a crap if I play it on the record? I don't care. So I put the guitar down and I just sat in that vocal booth and I just sang. And I had so much fun making that
It's
record
like
because
being
I was with,
pampered, isn't it?
oh, I was with all my friends and I was
Yeah.
singing my ass off.
Yeah.
Like the record would have suffered if I had forced myself to play guitar on it. So anyway, it's just, I've just grown up a lot. I've grown up a lot, and I know that that's not, you're not a failure if you don't play your own guitar on an album. Like you hire a great guitar player and that's great.
Yeah.
Gordy Quist is a way better rhythm guitar player than me,
Right.
so it's just being confident in who I am and knowing, look, I made these songs come to life. I did this. I created that. I'm just going to let them be what they are, and it's so much fun. Like
Yeah.
it's so much fun going in the studio and just letting things become what they become. And I'm just tickled. I really love making music. I wish it wasn't so damn expensive to make a record, because that's the only thing. It just costs so much money. But man, I am so proud of those last two records that I made.
I
I'm
was
proud
gonna
of
say
everything I've
I
ever
love to
done.
see you acknowledge how good these last two records are. I mean, just
That's not easy for me, by the
I
way.
imagine. I
And I'm not
imagine.
even taking credit for myself. I hired
Mm.
incredible musicians, and so
Is
they
there like
they
when Electrostatic comes out and you're getting all of this amazing criticism and people talking so nice about you and your record and stuff like that. When you start working towards the next one, Carry You With Me, is there pressure there to better the last one, or are you still just leaning on the freedom?
a little bit of both.
Yeah.
Yeah, I would be lying if I said I didn't know if my songs were strong enough. I always go in with way more songs than I need, and I let the producers whittle through it and pick what sonically will work the best together.
Are you fighting for
And
songs in that process?
can I tell you something?
Absolutely.
I fought for Electrostatic and Carry You With Me,
Let's go.
because they both don't sound like, they were just very simply written, and I was like, you don't understand. And then when I tell the story behind it, and I talked to the musicians about it, and I was like, I'm not, we're not fighting over this one. This one's happening. This is the title track.
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah.
this may not be your favorite. This is the title track, and it is. I already have the picture, so I take all the pictures of the cover. So I go into this record going, this is the title track. This is the cover picture. I mean, the art's not done, but like this is my inspiration here, and then we make it all fit. We'll figure out how to make it fit. But yeah, I fought for both of those songs, and not that they weren't putting them down. It was just like maybe there are stronger songs, but then when they get done, they're like, okay, you're right. This song is great. So anyway, it's been fun. It's been fun to trust my instinct on some of these things, and Yeah, I don't know.
The give and take has to be there. That's
learning.
important, I think, in the studio, right? Having that give and take, and
Yeah.
knowing that you can trust the people around you to fight for your song, and know that
Yeah.
they're gonna hear you out. And it's also important that they feel that they can be vocal about their position on it as well. And I love being in the studio and just watching all of that creativity work together. It's such a cool process, and
It is.
yeah, that's where the real work begins, I feel, right?
It's a lot. It is. It's mentally exhausting and physically exhausting. It's just long days. Your brain is constantly going. Creativity is exhausting. But it was really great. I had on this album was the first time I felt like I had a real good pre-production meeting with Gordy Quist and Trevor Nealon from the Band of Heathens. They produced the album, and they had done a lot of homework, and they challenged me to go back and rewrite certain things, and mostly musically. There were a couple of lines they challenged me to beat, and I had never been challenged ever.
Yeah.
So it scared me, and it made me like instantly like go, "Oh, you're not good enough." And then I was like, "No," he goes, "That's not what this is. That's you can beat it. Like you can beat it, and let's beat it because this record is going to be great." And so I was able to go do that without, needing to. They gave me the homework and the idea to do it, and they also gave me like things that they heard.
Mm-hmm.
And I said that the biggest thing to me is I wrote this by myself, and I was having a hard time sacrificing that. Like I did the words and music. Like I want to still be able to say that I did the words and music. Like I want to fix this on my own.
Plus, you still have that struggle with the truth too, right?
Yeah, the truth, and I have some control issues in terms of my own, like being in charge, like I know that about myself, and I have a hard time letting go, especially when it comes to my art. So, which is why I am independent. I have a booking agent, and he gets frustrated with me all the time because I hate talking on the phone, and so like I have a little bit of a struggle with letting people help me.
Yeah.
In general. But I'm learning and I'm growing, and every little step I take, growth does not go like this.
Nope.
It's a lot of this.
It's true.
So
Yeah. There's a lot of branches. There's never a straight line.
That's right.
If your growth is in a straight line, you're doing it wrong.
That's right.
Yep.
That's
Man,
right.
We've got Courtney Patton here on the Boston Chris Show for the first time. This is so amazing. Courtney, we're going to take a brief break. We got Palmyra Studios is going to give us a message. Palmer, Texas, he's looking for understudies to learn reel-to-reel recording down there.
Nice.
So, Pappy, take it away.
I'm putting it together right now, and I'd love to get it out that any student, I don't care how old you are or what, if your heart lies within this kind of domain of the sound, playing, any of that, I'm gonna start taking one day out of every couple of weeks and invite students in for a very small charge. And I will tell you whatever you want. Any question you got, I'll try to answer it.
Well, I will certainly put that out there. I'll make this a little ad for you, and we can share it.
Because they'll have full access to the studio, everything. I can tell them everything about how all of this started from analog into the digital world, and you'll be able to have hands-on. And I'll show you why analog sounds better than digital.
Amazing. Yeah, I'll cut this out. I'll make a little ad out of it, and we can share it everywhere.
That's awesome.
Absolutely.
Because I'd love to do it. That's my legacy, is to leave with.
It's pass it down, right?
Yeah.
All right, so we are back once again with the one and only Courtney Patton here on the show. And Courtney, I have some fun segments that we're going to get through. These usually go out on social media and TikTok and Reels and things like that beforehand. So these are kind of quick off-the-cuff kind of segments. The first one is called Did You Know? I always hit you with a hard one right away. Can you tell us something your fans may not know about you?
I had open heart surgery when I was 3 years old.
Wow.
I was born with a defect, and they waited until I was 3 to operate, but it was in need of repair, and so I have a scar from here to here, and a perfectly suitable, working, slightly scarred heart.
Amazing.
Yeah.
There's a lyric in there somewhere.
Yeah.
All right, next one's called Mount Rushmore. Who are the 4 songwriters on your Mount Rushmore of songwriting?
Oh man. Carole King, James Taylor, Willie Nelson, Merle Haggard.
Wow. Yeah. Wow.
I think so.
I
I
think
think
that's a good one.
yeah.
All right.
I mean, I could, gosh, that's tough, but if you just quickly say it, that's it.
You have to do it that way because then you'll beat yourself up, and then later on
Yeah.
you'll be like, oh, I should have put him there or her there.
Right.
All right. Give me 5 random numbers between 1 and 50.
5 random numbers?
Yep.
8, 10, 11, 23, 48.
Okay. So this next segment is called What the Heck? This is a rapid fire question segment. You have to tell me the first thing that pops into your brain when I ask these questions. So the 5 numbers you just chose are the 5 questions I will be asking you.
Ah, okay.
All right. Number 1, what do you think cats dream about?
I'm gonna say chasing birds. I have 3 cats. I'm gonna say out there hunting birds.
Yeah, I think that's a good answer. Number
Yeah.
2, would you rather eat a handful of hair or lick 3 public telephones?
I would lick 3 public telephones.
Good luck finding 3 public telephones.
Yeah, that's exactly why I picked that.
Yeah, she's smart. She's on it. All right, number 3.
Wicked smack.
If one synchronized swimmer drowns, what do you think happens to the others?
I think you gotta kick in and save somebody. I think you gotta go after them. I
So-
don't think they're all gonna drown.
You just
I
don't
think
think
they're
they
gonna
care
be
about the
wiser than
gold,
the-
is what you're saying.
I don't think it's herd mentality when it comes to drowning. I don't think so.
Yeah, I don't know, though. I mean, I think they get pretty good regimented training.
Yeah, okay.
All right, number 4. Have you ever tripped on stage? And if so, how did you play it off as cool?
Oh, I did not play it off as cool. I went to the green room and did not come back. I was in tears. Can I tell you the story?
Please.
Am I allowed?
Yes.
I was in Bozeman, Montana, and I had opened the show for Jason and Edie, and Susie Bogus bought tickets and came to the show that night.
Oh, my God.
We had been at the Braun Brothers Festival, and then she was in Bozeman the next night, so she came out a night early and came up to the show, and she was out there, and I was up singing harmony with Jason's set. And before the show, I'd looked down, and his guitar player, Haystack, the sound guy, had just left cables running all over the stage, and I looked down, I was like, somebody's going to trip over that tonight. I spoke it into existence.
Yep.
And then, as we're leaving, the show's over and we're leaving to, like, they're going to clap and then we're going to come back for the encore. Like, it was just a known thing. There's going to be an encore. As I'm walking off, my foot gets caught under the cable and I fall over the front of the stage. Completely wipe out in front of everyone. Elevated stage. Bust. Go to the green room, and I'm just mortified. I'm mortified that one of my, 1990 superstar queen ladies is out in the crowd. And she's my friend now,
Right.
but she's so she walks backstage with a bottle of wine, and I was like, and I started to say it. She goes, "Nope, what are you talking about? Nothing happened. Great show. Here's some wine." And I was
Wow.
like, "You're the best. She's the best. She made
Amazing.
everything better." Yeah.
Amazing. All right, last one for What the Heck is number 48. Who is your hero?
That's really hard.
Yep.
Okay. This is not normal, that what I'm about to say. I think I'm my own hero right now.
Let's go.
I'm just entering into this phase of life of trying to learn how to love myself, and I'm really proud. I'm really proud of myself. I'm really proud of how I've overcome a lot of things. I'm really proud of how I've handled certain things. There are a lot of things I've done wrong, but every single day I'm getting better. And so right now, I am my own hero.
And you're always
That's not
writing
supposed to
yourself
be
as the winner.
vain.
Remember that.
That's not supposed to be vain, because I have a lot of heroes.
I
that
don't
have
think that's
inspired
vain
me
at
a lot.
all. I think that's very, very, very self-righteous and understanding that you deserve that credit, right? Like, I mean, you lived all of
just
that.
in this season. Just
Yeah,
in this season.
that's fine.
Yeah.
Stuff like that can change, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh yeah. It won't last for long. I'll be back
Well,
to self-deprecation.
It's
very
on
soon,
tape
I'm sure.
now, just so we're clear, right? So,
It's not vain, damn it.
all right. Next one's called One Artist. I think you'll enjoy this one. Who is one artist you wish the whole world knew about?
Well, man, I think Okay, yeah. I would have said Zach Top, but he's getting recognized, so that's fantastic. I was on the bandwagon early with that guy, and I spread the love. Like I just am obsessed with him. But I would say Adam Carroll.
I love Adam Carroll. Oh my
Adam Carroll.
gosh.
I wish everyone knew the brilliance and the wit and the humor and the kindness, and he's one of the most unbelievable humans I've ever met. Adam Carroll.
So
Yep.
I haven't met him yet. I'm doing an interview with him soon, him and Chris. They're playing locally here, and I'm doing an interview to help with the promotion of the show. So I'm going to get to meet both of them and interview. It's going to be great. I'm so stoked.
Yeah. So
what is on? What is still on your wish list?
musically or
Just open ended.
I need to go to Hawaii. I need to.
Does
I wanna-
Belize count? Because I know you're going to Belize soon.
I am. You better believe it. I'm so excited. Uh, I want to go to Hawaii. I would like to go play music in Europe again. I haven't been since the pandemic, and I was going every year. So I that's not true. I did go to Liechtenstein last year, but that was a festival, and it wasn't really a proper tour. So I would like to go back over there and travel some more and make more memories over there. I I just wish to be content, really, just in life. I want my children to be happy, and I just want to be happy. I want to feel safe and happy.
There you go. I like
Yeah.
that. All right, next one is called Personal Best. I feel like this is very like perspective based, right? Because like fans of yours will be able to have an opinion on what they think is your personal best accomplishment. But personally speaking, what do you think your personal best accomplishment is?
My children, without a doubt. Uh, for all of my flaws, like I've raised these amazing humans that have grown up to be really smart and kind and funny, hardworking adults, my son is incredible. He's going to graduate college soon, and my daughter will start next year, and they're just good people, and I'm really proud of them. Yeah.
And you
My
passed
kids.
that down from mom, so you did a good job.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
So next one's called Moment of Gravity. I have a feeling that maybe I might know what this is, but Moment of Gravity, I always struggle to ask this question, but basically, was there a time in your life, like maybe a person, a time, an event, an object, something like that you can look back at it, and that moment in time is when everything started changing for you?
Yeah. I think, can it be in a sad way?
Just however you interpret it.
My sister's accident just completely reshaped my entire existence, and so it's just that slow grief has been in my bones for a really long time. And she died in 2002, and uh, I think the pandemic, it all came to a head, and I
Yeah.
realized that I hadn't really maybe processed it as well as I thought I had, and I just realized how much it stayed with me and kind of maybe poisoned every fiber in my being at least a little bit. I had lived with a lot of fear and a lot of anxiety and a lot of scared of dying and scared of getting ill and something happening to me and hurting my parents the way that losing her did. And um, but it's also made me stronger, and it's made me love harder. And yeah, I think that did a lot of reshaping.
It makes you into more of a right now kind of person too, right? Like you realize how short life is, and
Yeah,
you don't.
absolutely.
I have those same mortality issues, man. I struggle with it all the time, even to this day. And honestly, I can kind of go back to when my dad passed as that happening, and I was the one that found him and all of that stuff. So like I can draw a line to that,
Right.
mortality, fear of dying, to that, and boy, it changes your life. Like
Yeah, it sure does.
So, and it's funny you talk about the pandemic. I was the same way, man. I was a hermit. I was going nowhere. Like
Same.
I was not going to put myself in danger because I feel like this is a one-time thing, and yeah, I don't want to leave yet. I have a lot to do, right? So
That's right.
yeah.
That's right.
All right. So
Yeah.
last segment is called "Who Do You Think You Are?" Who is Courtney Patton?
I'm a mom. I can't say that much longer. I mean, I'll always be a mom, but I have a really sensitive big heart that I wear on my sleeve a lot. But I hope that I do good things with it. I hope that I do. And that's a hard question.
It is. I saved the hardest one for last.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I just am a person that is trying hard every single day. How about that?
Yep, I love it. So if people are finding out about Courtney Patton, I don't know where the hell you are, where you're living under a rock, but it's Courtney Patton Music. That's your @ pretty much everywhere, I believe. The website is CourtneyPatton.com. You guys need to go check everything out over there. Check out the Patreon. She's got a really, really cool.
I'm so excited about the Patreon.
Please do that, you guys, and you can find her Patreon right there at CourtneyPatton.com, which means you guys can help her with her next record. She mentioned that it's very expensive to put the music out there, and we need to have Courtney's music in our lives forever. So you guys make sure you're doing that.
Thank you.
Courtney, thank you so much for your time today. And,
Thank you for having me.
You okay?
Oh man, yeah, you just made me get in my feels today. You know?
I didn't do it. It was all you.
Yeah, no, it's good. I enjoy it. I like a good happy cry and a introspective cry. So.
It's refreshing, man. It's like you said earlier, like you do it, you grieve it, and then it's put away. And I love that.
Hey, y'all, this is Matt Hillier. Thanks for tuning into the Boston Chris Show.